Hey, what is going on, guys? XpertFusion here, and welcome to my review for The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 13, which is titled What We Become. So this was Michonne's final episode, and I went into it with really odd expectations because I always read the non-spoiler reviews before the episodes, the ones that just kind of share a simple understanding of the episode, just kind of like how they felt, what their first reactions were, not saying anything specific, and it was really mixed. A lot of people said it was really good. A lot of people said it was not that good. So I was just really interested to see what this episode would be like. And I was pleasantly surprised. So of course I want to start off this review with the non-spoiler section, then we'll get into spoilers a little bit later. The non-spoiler section is going to be rather quick though, because a lot of what I want to discuss is spoiler heavy. But I loved this episode. That's pretty much the start of it. I don't think it was one of the best episodes. I don't think it was it's not like top 10, not top 20, maybe like top 30 at most. But just for what this episode was supposed to do, and the reason why I criticized episode 12 so harshly is I was expecting what that type of episode was. I expected more. That was supposed to be like a start of a battle episode. It was like the whisper of war was beginning, and that's why I was so critical over things like the the battle itself only being like 5 minutes long. But when you have an episode like this where you know it's going to be more character driven, you know it's not supposed to be a battle episode, you kind of give it more leeway for certain things, and that's kind of was true here. Yes, it was kind of a slow episode, but it was incredibly done. The dialogue, the little action it did have was really, really good. I want to talk about so much more because there were some moments that blew my mind, and I was like, I think it's a good exit from Michonne. I don't think it's the best exit from Michonne possible. I don't think it's perfect, but it still is a pretty damn good exit for her, at least for the series for now. Trust me, she will come back. People saying this is the last we're going to see Michonne, it's so sad. No. We are going to see more of Michonne, whether that be in the movies or she'll come back to the series at one point. She's just a very busy person. She's in, the Marvel movies, so she's got a lot of stuff to do, and she can't always be there for this show. But something like the Rick movies, she'll be able to do, and then she'll probably be able to come back to the series for the final season, is my bet. So yeah, we got a lot more to see from her, I'm sure. Same for Rick. So I'm gonna give it a 9.2 out of 10 rating, which is pretty damn good. Makes it the second best of the season in my opinion. So yes, let's get into the spoiler section of this video. So first of all, holy shit, that drug trip sequence where she was going through all those hallucinations and stuff was one of the most mind-blowing scenes The Walking Dead has ever had. And I'm not a big fan of hallucinations because sometimes they overdo them. Like the Sadiq ones, I felt like were a little bit too much. It was like, bro, we have enough of this. But when they're done in a certain way where it's like you get to see flashbacks of the past, I really love that, especially because I love that nostalgia that you get from old scenes, from old episodes. That's why I really enjoyed Rick's final episode, because you had all those characters returning, like Herschel and Shane, and they were in those iconic classic locations. It was just really nice to see that. I also liked Tyrese's last episode. I mean, I didn't love his last episode, but I loved how in his last episode they had all the different people coming back as like the governor. They had Bob, Beth, Lizzie, Mika. That was really cool. In this episode, holy shit! They basically went back to show what Michonne would be like if she was a terrible person, if she was a bad person. And they showed her, which I thought this was really cool, coming across Negan, and we get to see OG Negan back as a savior. And then the lineup scene, which, oh my god, that was amazing. And then she goes through, she picks herself and then kills herself and whatever. And you see the lineup, you see all the characters there. You see her shooting Heath and Glenn in that one room. That was wild. You see her killing those 2 people in the woods during All Out War. And then Daryl comes over, shoots her in the stomach, and then Rick is the one finishes off. A lot of Rick in this episode, which is really cool. I just loved it. I loved everything about that sequence. It was just beautifully done. And then seeing more scenes like that later on, the music, oh my god, the soundtrack in this episode was... I'm a big soundtrack guy. If you know me, you probably know that. When it comes to movies, shows, games, I really do care about the soundtrack. I really think it's a big part as to what makes it good or bad, what you're watching. And soundtrack is huge, and this soundtrack, oh my god. During that sequence, they had amazing music, and then the ending scene, they reused a remix version of Rick's final theme when he was in that last stand on the bridge. They reused that, which was so good, and I was just like, loving every second of it. You'll see my reaction, how I felt. I was really hyped for all that. I loved some of the dialogue between Virgil and Michonne. Some of it was also just like kind of like really slow, and you were just like, all right, is this really that important? Now Virgil, if he ends up being an important character in the future, then I'll accept it, but I feel like he's not. I really do feel like this character is going to be forgotten about within the next episode. Like, I just don't think we're going to see him again, and if we do, it won't be that important. So I don't know if all these character development scenes for Virgil was that important. Like, was a lot of that stuff important? For Michonne's sake, yeah, I guess, but we didn't need to go as in depth. I felt like there was some wasted time with Virgil. I feel like we could have speed through it a little bit quicker. That's like my only negative in the whole episode, honestly, is that some of those scenes felt really unnecessary and kind of slow, almost like filler. But I hate using the word filler. It's thrown around so much. People just call things that are boring filler, and that's not true. Just because something's boring does not mean it's filler. Filler is stuff that is physically unimportant to the story. If you take it out, it would not make a difference to the story at all, and it's just there to fill up the episode. But since this episode is extended, I felt like they wanted that because there's a reason for it, and there's usually a reason for everything on this show. They don't just throw things in there for no reason. I mean, there's some things here and there, I guess, that can be flaws, but for the most part, they do things for a reason, and I do think that they did this character in the way they did for a reason, and whether that's just from Michonne's development or this because this character is going to be used later on, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I really did dig the location, like the island, and then they went in the naval boat. That was really cool. And the reveal of her finding Rick's boots and freaking out, and then finding that like phone which had like engravings of like Michonne and Judith, and then he just knew it from that point, and then it said Rick on it. He just knew at that point that he's alive, or at least he has been at some point. And then she knows that she has to go find him. Now, I'm gonna be honest, there was a couple moments in the episode I was kind of confused, particularly the end of the episode. I still don't know what was going on there. Like, we came across that, like, it looked like a zombie herd, but it wasn't. It was horses and like carriages, right? But what group was that? That wasn't Commonwealth, because we know we're gonna follow Commonwealth through Eugene's storyline. It wasn't CRM. I'm assuming it wasn't. So who was it? Was it just a new group that's going to be introduced in the movie somehow? And that dude, I forget the name's dude. I forget the name's dude. I forget the dude's name. Is it like Chris Batch or something? The black dude in the end of the episode. That guy, I know him from so many movies and shows, and really cool to see him here. Just a side note, but I was kind of confused as to what was happening, but then she was, going to help them out because they were all afraid. They thought she was a killer, but she was like, no, I'll help you guys out. After she killed her walker pets, which was really cool to see the walker pets back as well. And just, I really liked how she told Judith, and Judith now feels like she knows that Rick might still be alive. And then this is another negative, I did want to see Daryl's reaction. Now, hopefully we get to see Daryl's reaction. Maybe Judith tells Daryl within the next episode. That would be nice. But unfortunately, I don't think they're going to show that. I think that would have been impactful as fuck if they showed us that. And I kind of wish that Michonne also talked to Daryl on the walkie as well, not just Judith. I think that would have made for some great stuff. And as for being a bottle episode, like, it was really good. It was really damn good. And it really sucks to me that I feel like the show could be so much better if it just had a bigger budget. Like, I feel like all the complaints I tend to have, it usually doesn't come from the writing. It usually comes from, like, I wanted to see more of that. You know what I mean? And I felt like that's the main concerns I usually tend to have. Or, like, little, like, things where it's like, they could have made that a little bit shot better. But it's like, it's probably because they don't have as high of budget, which is just how AMC is. But I'm really excited for the movies, and I'm sure you guys are too, because the movies are going to probably have an insane budget, which will be awesome. I'm excited for the future of this show as well. And next episode, we're going to talk about that in the prediction video. Next episode looks awesome. And I'm sure 15 and 16 are going to be awesome as well to finish out the Whisperer War, which so far the Whisperer War, it's been pretty good. I was disappointed with episode 12 and everyone was freaking out. I have not gotten that much hate on a video in a long time. Like, I was simply sharing my opinion. I thought the episode was pretty good, but it wasn't anything I should freak out about. I predicted that pretty much the whole episode. Negan's gonna kill Alpha. I mean, that's just gonna happen. But I still loved it, you know, and people were just freaking out because I had like 2 criticisms, and I guess one of the criticisms they were trying to explain to me, and I was like, okay, that makes sense, but they didn't explain that at all. Like, it really, in the point that I was watching, it didn't make much sense at that point. And even with the explanations, I'm still thinking like, well, Negan put her in more danger by locking her in a shed, so I really don't get that. But whatever, that's besides the point. This episode was great. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. Michonne's final episode. For now, they keep saying final episode, but let's be real here. She's gonna come back eventually. So will Rick. I no doubt in my mind. And when is Maggie coming back? I can't wait for that. Probably the finale is my guess. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.